Good morning, everyone. I'm Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, and I am live for my regular Wednesday morning crafting time. So today I am going to be working on this month's paper pumpkin. Mine actually arrived on the weekend, but with it being a long weekend, we had family stuff going on and just not a lot of time to craft. So I am here this Wednesday morning to put this one together with you and hopefully share some alternative cards with you as well. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and we're going to open this one up and see what we've got. All right. So here we go. This is our beautiful paper pumpkin box. I got a few of them, and this one unfortunately got damaged in the mail. So because I do have my others for sale, this is the one I'm going to craft with, so nobody has to get the damaged box. Now, the great thing about these boxes, though, is that they keep everything inside in great condition. So in this kit, we got our Misty Moonlight spot. So I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight full-size ink pad because I happen to have it. If I didn't, though, I love having the spots to grow my collection. Then we've got a beautiful stamp set. It's mostly sentiments with a few little birds here. So you mean the world to me. Happy birthday to a wonderful man. I love you, best dad ever, you're the greatest, and happy Father's Day. So these are all just going to be great for creating some masculine cards. Good morning, Kim. Thanks for joining. All right, so let's open this up. I'll put my box off to the side. And, all right, I've been so excited for this particular kit because I know it's like all mountain themes, and it's just very West Coast to me, the little pictures that I have seen. So being that I live in Port Coquitlam, which is right here near the mountains and the ocean, this one was particularly attractive to me. Okay, so we'll open this up. So paper pumpkin kits are a little bit of a surprise. We do get a few little sneak peeks, so we're not entirely in the dark about what's coming. So we got some tear and tape in this kit. Love that. We got some beautiful watercolored envelopes here. Now, these might be used as envelopes because I do love a pretty envelope. Oh, there's some hidden pieces in here. Whoops. So I do love a beautiful envelope, but I also love cutting these up and using them as bits on alternative cards. So we're just going to put those to the side and see what happens with those later. All right, so it looks like we've got some vellum pieces here, and I'm just going to speed up the process by popping these all out right now. I do find the vellum is easier to pop out when they're in a stack like that. And oh, that's actually kind of a cool piece. I was going to go recycle that, but I might not. That's really neat. Let's hold on to those as well as an alternative piece. Okay. We got a whole bunch of dimensionals. I love these oversized dimensional sheets. And then we've got some sentiment pieces here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like they've given us an extra few just in case, because they gave us 5. And I believe this kit, let's just see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're only making 3 of each of the 3 designs, so it makes 9 cards. So that means they gave us 2 extras of both of these shapes of labels for stamping. Good morning, Gail. So there's our first card base. Isn't that gorgeous? So of course you fold this and you get the front and the back, which means I'm going to be chopping this down and making multiple cards out of that. So I'm going to keep one of these for now. I'm going to put the other bit into my box for later. All right, we have some more vellum pieces here. So again, I'm just going to pop these out all in one go. There we go. And there we go. Now this looks like it might be too wide to fit onto a card front because it looks like those are intended to go all the way across. Yeah, that's too wide. So I'm not going to be able to keep that one as an alternative. All right. Now There's another gorgeous piece here. These are so pretty. I absolutely love these. Oh, and I don't know if you guys can see it just so faintly. There's like an arch like for the sun and the rays of the sun and everything. That is gorgeous. Oh, I love it. All right, so we'll pop that off to the side. Then we've got more layers. These ones aren't vellum though. These are just beautiful watercolors. But again, just really easy to pop them out when they're all kind of stacked together. Okay. And these are going to be just so pretty. I love the color combo here too. I didn't actually look specifically, but it looks like it might be Misty, Moonlight, Lost Lagoon, Old Olive, and Pecan Pie. So nice. All right, and our final card base. And again, this one has a very light sun spot on it. And then we'll be chopping up that one as well, because these backs of these cards are too pretty to waste as a back of a card. All right. Oh, and more. Okay, and these are more pop-outs as well, so I'm just going to pop them all out. That's one go. These are stunning. Oh, my. Okay, and then we have a sentiment here. It says, thank you for being the person you are. That's so pretty. And some beautiful trees. Oh, my goodness. So these are beautiful. You've been waiting for the paper pumpkin refill kits. Yeah, so it's usually the 21st, so that would be today, that paper pumpkin refill kits become available, if they are available. They don't guarantee it. So, all right, so those are all the pieces from our kit. Now, let's go ahead and I'll just show you. If this is your first time watching a paper pumpkin video, I'll just let you know that they always include this little artwork piece here. I love this because it means after I'm done my kit, I can store these together. And then I always know what sentiments were meant to be in here. So I can store these together for future use. So that's always handy. All right, don't put that too far away because we're going to need those. And then, of course, we have the instructions. They show us what our cards are meant to look like and exactly how to achieve that look. So I love that the instructions are clear, they're colored, and all of that. And then I just want to point out that they've also shown us here, reminder, that we have an add-on paper pumpkin kit and a really loud cat in the background. I don't know why she always chooses my video times to get noisy. Now, let's see. I was creating with this die set. Oh, there it is. I was using it for some other cards, so I had to go find it. So this is an add-on die set. This coordinates with the April, May, and June paper pumpkins. So it's really handy. We had the floral and the leaves that coordinate with next month. We had the hugs that coordinated with last month, and then this label that's intended for this month's cards. So really handy. We'll hold on to that as well for some alternatives later. Oh, she always wants to join. She's so funny. Okay, so let's get started on these cards. I do like to always try to create sort of how they intended the first time around, and then kind of work on some alternatives. So the first card that they're showing us here is the one with the beautiful kind of like sun arch on it. But I'm not going to create on this full card. I am actually going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4 and layer it onto a piece of cardstock so that I've got this piece for creating something else. So to do that, I'm going to need my paper trimmer because I'm going to have to trim some of the layers that we're going to put on as well. And that's okay. That is totally fine. The other option is that you don't trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4, but you keep it full size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and layer it fully onto a card front. But I kind of like the look of it being layered. So I'm just actually going to double check what colors are here, and we're going to make a choice about our background. I'm feeling like this is Lost Lagoon and that's what I'm going to go with, but I'm just going to check. So it's Petal Pink, Pecan Pie, Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, Lost Lagoon. So I'm just going to go grab a Petal Pink and a Lost Lagoon. I don't think I want Old Olive. Petal Pink. Pink and the Lost Lagoon. There it is. All right, so we're just going to take a look at this and decide what we're going to layer this onto. So the Petal Pink catches the top of the card nicely, but I think we're going to go with Lost Lagoon for this one because it pulls the center of our card in and grabs everything. Oh, hi, Cynthia from Indianapolis. Thanks for joining. So we're just getting started on card number 1 from the Majesties Paper Pumpkin Kit. So I'm just going to score that at 4 1/4 and cut this at 5 1/2. So I've got 2 card bases here. There we go. And I'm going to cut down that card front to 4 by 5 1/4. Now, when I do that, I'm actually going to take a little bit off the top and a little bit off the bottom, not a full quarter off of one or the other end. And I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in because we're going to have some other trimming to do. All right, so I've trimmed this piece down. I'm left with this beautiful piece to work on later. And so I'm going to add that to my alternative stack. And we're going to get started. So I've got my Lost Lagoon base here. And you know what? I might not even trim my layered pieces. We'll see. I might let my layered pieces go right out to the edges of the card. We'll see what that looks like. So for right now, I'm not going to glue this down because we're going to wait and see. So first step is to get our card base kind of ready. And then we're going to do some stamping on our card base. They've got us stamping both sets of birds. So there's a little set and a big set of birds here. They've got us stamping them both. So I'm going to grab a little block for those guys. And a big block for, oh, there it is. A big block for the large set of birds. All right. And they've got us stamping them in Misty Moonlight right across. So we've got to look for where those suns lay. So I see that one. They've got us stamping it so that it goes right across all 3 rings. So let's come in. Oops. Let's make sure we've actually inked it. There we go. And just like that, it goes across all of them. And where did I put? There's my little ones. And our little ones are going to go over here. Just like that. All right. Now, while we have our ink out, we're also going to stamp the Happy Father's Day sentiment onto one of our labels. So let's get this onto a block. Now, when I'm putting these onto such large blocks, I like to put them up near the top so that I don't have to get a lot of ink in places that I don't want it. Now I'm going to take one of these and pop it out. They do give us 5, so we can make some mistakes, but if we don't, then we have 2 extras for other cards. All right, there we go. Happy Father's Day. So that is fantastic. I love this color. Now, for those of you who are looking for alternatives for cards, I have actually just recently joined a Paper Pumpkin stamp set alternatives group. And so for any of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, you actually get a 10-card PDF of alternatives from me each month, just starting this past month. So kind of a nice little thing to be able to offer my customers, and a great thing for me as well. I am always looking for extra inspiration. All right, so it looks like we're using the vellum pieces for this. So we've got that vellum, and I'm going to put these extras away. And then we've got the darker green. So just like that. And then we should have a sliver. No, where did it go? There's so many pieces in this kit. All right, and a sliver of green. Where's, oh, right there. And then a not vellum piece. Okay. So vellum, vellum, not vellum. I think that's how that goes. Oh, and I missed a piece. We also have a piece going the other way. There we go, just like that. Okay, so it's vellum, not vellum, not. Awesome. All right, and I should put away those extras so that it's less confusing to me later as we keep going. All right. I'm just going to dig through and make sure I got everything. I did. Okay, wonderful. So we've got vellum, not, and we're going to layer these all up. Now, I did trim this background piece, but I think when I layer these on, I'm not going to trim them down. I'm going to put them on full size so that they go right to the edges of my card. And it's just going to create, again, more of that idea of like, I don't know, the card kind of pulling itself together. So they do show us exactly how to put these on. We have got dimensionals going onto, oh, did I miss another layer? No, I didn't. Oh, okay, I see. We've got dimensionals going onto this piece, and we're keeping them low, okay? We're keeping these very, very low because we don't want them to be visible behind this one. All right, so kind of there's our idea of how high we can go. So up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit. All right, I think that one might be up a little too high, but this is vellum, so it peels easily. So we're going to keep these all really, really low. Oh, I know some of these colors in vellum are unreal. I do really wish that we would get more of these. All right, so that is all going to be put on with our vellum. Now, actually, I should glue this down. I had resisted gluing it down yet, but it is time because I want all of this lined up nicely on our card front, and these are going to go right down to the bottom to compensate for what I trimmed off. All right, so we're going to glue this down right onto the card front. Oh, you just put the refills in your shopping cart. Okay, wonderful. So for people watching, the refills are available for this kit now. And this is one that definitely refills are needed for. This is so pretty. All right, so don't worry that we can see those, because the next thing we're going to do is attach this piece, and we're attaching it with some tear and tape. And now they gave us tear and tape. Let's find that. There we go. Thanks for sharing, Karen. Yeah, I've been so busy this morning. My mom is in town. She's coming over this morning. And so I spent the morning tidying up the house and getting things ready. So I haven't even been online yet this morning. All right. So there we go. We're going to line that up and pop that down. Okay, now I feel like it kind of needs one more. It didn't call for it, but I feel like it needs a dimensional up in this corner just to keep it stabilized. So there we go. I've done that. So now, oh, you're from Montana. Wonderful. Thanks for joining. All right, so now with that done, the rest of our layers are going to go on with tear and tape because we don't need any more bulk to this. So this one's going to go on with tear and tape. We're going to keep the tear and tape low on this one so that it gets hidden. Okay, so let's again grab our tear and tape. Now I feel like I'm also not going to put my tear and tape all the way across. I'm going to see how far this goes because I really don't want it visible. Okay, so I'm going to do most of the way across, and then this one we can do all of the way across. All right, so now we're going to peel this off and pop that on. So we're just lining everything up down here at the bottom. All right, and then this one. If you ever have trouble peeling the tear and tape backing off, I find if you just burnish it, like push it down a bit more onto the cardstock and then try to peel it, it comes off really nicely. All right, and line that up as well. All right, there we go. Okay, so that is our gorgeous background all built up. And now we're going to add our sentiment. Now, they want us to add our sentiment with dimensionals, which you for sure can do, but now you're going to have double dimensionals, and this is going to be a really thick card for mailing. So I personally am actually going to use another piece of tear and tape to attach my Happy Father's Day, and I am going to put it down so that it layers over 3 of these layers. Okay, if you felt like maybe you wanted to use dimensionals, still I then would move my sentiment like up somewhere else so that like maybe even right there, so that you've got a dimensional behind the Happy Father's Day, but it's going to be too thick otherwise. So I am going to alter again just a little bit their ideas, just because for mailing that's not practical. Okay, so I'm going to put this where they had originally intended it, where it's going over 3 different layers, but I'm just not popping it up. All right, so there you have it. That is our first card finished, and it's just so beautiful. It's so simple, really, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to put that to the side. Oh, and if you have done this, I would recommend grabbing a piece of white cardstock. You can totally write on Moss Lagoon. It's not, it's not the end of the world if you don't put a piece in here, but I just think it creates a really nice finished look. And then the other thing that we can do is we can kind of pull some of that card front to the inside of our card by stamping a few birds in here. So let's just pop that down, and then we can come back in with our birds and our Misty Moonlight ink and just give another little spray of birds across here. This time I think I'm just going to stick to this corner and just do the one big one, or perhaps I'll do the one big one up there and then put a few little lost ones over here. There we go. And that just kind of ties the front of the card in to the inside. I know, you know what? Karen, I thought exactly the same thing. I think that the original card front is gorgeous without all the layers. And I personally do think that I will use the remaining layers for some alternative cards. But I always like to stick as close as possible to the original card for the first one that I create. And then I know I have 2 more sets to do as I please. So that's the first kind of original-ish card. I do say ish because I know, like, I cut up and changed the base and I modified it a bit. Now this next one we are going to modify as well. This one is the one that makes me like, this is home. This is heaven to me. The trees, the water, the mountains. I love this. I absolutely have to cut this down, and I'm going to put this one onto a Misty Moonlight background. So I'm just going to give you guys a view of that. So we do have Misty Moonlight as an option, or we've got, of course, the other half of, oh, you just ordered 2 more. Way to go, Kim. We do have the Lost Lagoon, but I feel like because the Lost Lagoon's just at the top of the card, well, I guess it's down here too. It softens it a little too much. I'm gonna stick with the Misty Moonlight. So I'm gonna go just use my guillotine and trim this down again to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm gonna take a little bit off the top and a little bit off the bottom because I don't want to lose too much of anything. And then when I'm trimming up the sides, I'm going to do the same thing because I don't want to kind of off-center this. All right, and then we have an alternatives piece. Okay, so there's our trimmed down card front that we're going to put right onto this Misty Moonlight. Now, I'm not even going to wait to do this one. I'm just going to go ahead and pop this on. All right, now... Oh, interesting. Really? You've got us putting vellum across this? I don't understand. Oh, it really darkens that up and takes away the view. Oh, I see. And then we add this piece in, and well, I'm not sure about that. I don't know. It's asking me to put vellum across all of this, and I just don't think I can do that. And then what's this piece for? That must be for the next card. Oh, I'm very confused now. So, oh, it wants me to put the vellum in and then put this back in on top and then add these trees in front. Well, that actually does make a really big difference. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. Okay. So I am going to trim these down though. So I'm going to trim them both on this side. So I'm going to take 1/4 inch off of this, off of what would be the right side. All right. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, it does seem a shame, though, to cover up all of this beautiful scenery, but that layers on absolutely beautifully, and it really does make a difference to the card when you're in person. All right, and then these can go on over top. That's going to be gorgeous. Okay, so now that we've got that all sorted out and I figured out what's actually happening, let's do what they said in terms of taping these down. So they want us to put some tear and tape on the backs of this one, but we don't want it above that line. So that's about the highest we're going to go. So right about there. So we're going to put tear and tape right across both of these. So this layer is going to be very flat. And I'm going to intentionally kind of make sure that we only are using 1 layer of dimensionals. I think this shows 2 different layers of dimensionals again, and it's going to be too much. Can't do it. All right, so this piece we're going to layer on. Ay, come on. There we go. So that's put on like that. And then this one, I think I'm also going to use tear and tape to put on, and then it's the trees that I'm going to pop up. Actually, you know what? They've got a nice enough border and look a little popped anyways. Maybe I will pop that layer. Yeah, we're going to tear and tape the trees, even though they said to pop them. And we're going to dimensional the layer. All right. So there we go, and there we go. We'll peel that off and attach that to this layer. So if you know you're not mailing these, go ahead and have some fun with all the dimensionals. But I know that these are going to end up in the mail, so I am going to keep it to a minimum. Now they've got us using 6 dimensionals across here. There we go. And I'm actually going to throw in 2 more just to keep the middles from sagging. All right. I know, whoever did this, it's just gorgeous. And really, the cards are going to be just as great without all these layers if you wanted to use the layers to create alternatives. Like it really doesn't need it. It's just a little bit of an extra oomph to the card when we do this. All right, now we don't even stamp words on this one. We've just got one little set of birds. Oops, that I was supposed to stamp at the beginning, but oh well. We will survive because it's just one little set of birds up there. And now we've got our thank you for being the person you are, and that one that I thought was a label. Uh-oh, where did I put my labels? Oh, well, that's interesting. What would I have done with them? Oh, there they are. Okay. This one that I thought was a label, it's not. So I don't know why they gave us 5, because I don't know how we're going to mess this up. We're simply layering that behind our sentiment. So we're going to put the 2 together like that and attach them to our card front. So they have us using dimensionals for this. No, thank you. It's just too much. So I'm going to put a little piece of tear and tape on here so that I can attach the 2 together in the way that I want. So I want an equal border, top, bottom, and left, or sorry, right. Okay, so with that, and then they would like this attached here. So because it's again on a popped up layer, I am not going to pop it up. I am just going to lay it flat. You feel free to pop it up if you want to. But I just think it's too, this coming from the person who loves dimensionals, I just think it's too much. All right. I guess I could have left this layer flat and then I could have popped this and the trees up. That would have worked. But that's okay. This works too. That is beautiful. And then this whole layer we're going to attach to that Misty Moonlight base that I got there. Oops, come on, turn around. Okay. There we go. Oh, I got my stamp set in there. All right. And we're going to pop that onto the Misty Moonlight card base. So now I've got a whole extra piece that we can use for an alternative card as well. And I think that is just stunning. So we're going to put another piece on the inside here. So I'm just going to grab this and glue this inside. And just like I did on the first one, I'm just going to stamp a few birds inside to let it kind of tie together. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight and maybe that big flock of birds that weren't on the front of the card, they're going to be on the inside. There we go. All right, and that is card number 2 from this kit. So these are coming together really nicely, really quickly, and they're just gorgeous. All right, now our last card. This one's pretty easy to figure out the pieces because it's all that I've got left. So I've got that. I've got that. Oops, I didn't take away the extra trees or the extra backgrounds. All right. Now, there it is. And we've got one more piece of vellum. Okay, so what we're going to do is they've got us using dimensionals on all 3 layers. So that is not going to happen. In fact, I might not use, So I might just use dimensionals on that one layer. I think that's all I'm going to do is put these three together and then pop it up. And again, you really don't need to. This card with the layers or without the layers is absolutely beautiful. Now I am going to trim this one down again and put this onto a card base because it's just too pretty to do otherwise. All right, so let's come in here, quarter, and then a little, and there we go. And there we go. All right, now in terms of card base for this one, I'm wondering if we want the Lost Lagoon. Nope. The Misty Moonlight. I know there must be something wrong with me. Okay, Misty Moonlight's okay. I'm also just going to go grab a piece of pecan pie and a piece of crumb cake just to see what that might look like. Okay, so let's check these out on crumb cake. That's really nice, and it kind of matches that centerpiece. Or, oh, definitely not pecan pie. Okay, so it's either crumb cake or Misty Moonlight. And I'm feeling like crumb cake's winning. All right, so crumb cake, here we go. I'm just going to give this a quick score and trim. And so I'm scoring at 4 1/4 and cutting at 5 1/2. That's giving me 2 card bases, so I'll have lots of options for when we're making alternatives. So this gets stamped on. We're going to stamp You Mean the World to Me in Misty Moonlight right where that sun is. So, and there's no birds on this one. Interesting. All right. Now, instead of cleaning up a block, though, I'm just going to grab another block. And I'm going to grab You Mean the World to Me. Oh, there's also To a Wonderful Man. But You Mean the World to Me means that we can give it to anybody. And yeah, I think that'll be better. Okay, so You Mean the World to Me. That's nicely inked. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so with that stamped, now we can start putting these layers together. So I'm going to glue this one down. Actually, should I glue it down or should I attach this first? Oh, actually, we could do that again, where it goes right to the edges like we did on that first card. Yeah, let's do that. So I will attach this first. All right. So there we go. Glue this right down to our card front. There. And then these 3 layers, I'm going to use tear and tape to hold them together, and then I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals onto my card front. So let's grab our tear and tape, and I'm going to keep that down at the bottom. Keep that down about there. And let's see. So put that on there, and that on there. There we go. And then all of these popped up. So if you're doing it the way the instructions say, you're going to pop up all of these layers. It will be gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But I'm going to skip it. All right, and peel these off. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to put this one on so that it lines up with the base and the edge of my card. There we go. And it just adds a little bit of texture to the card. Have we thought of selling the PDFs for the paper pumpkins yet? You know what? That's actually something that our group doesn't do. It's just one of those things that we are just giving it as a perk to people who order their paper pumpkins with us. Sorry, Kim. Yeah, so it's just a kind of a fun extra little thing. And it's just a way to use your paper pumpkin stamp set. It actually uses nothing else from the kit except for the paper pumpkin stamp set. So it's kind of fun. All right, that is our third card complete. So these are beautiful, thick, textured cards, gorgeous watercolor backgrounds, so simple to put together. But it leaves us with some extras that we can have some fun with. So let's start playing around with some alternative cards, which is honestly always my favorite part. I do love the paper pumpkins. They're gorgeous. Oh, and we forgot to put a layer in this one. For this one, I'm just going to do a simple white layer, no stamping, nothing. So we're no birds on the front of this card. So we're just going to go with it as it is. So let's glue this inside. And then we're going to start playing around with our extra pieces. And I'm going to pull in the add-on die set to use with this, I think. All right, so there's those done. Now I'll just show you the pieces that we have left over. So we have the 3 backgrounds. Oh, where's the third one? We do have 3 backgrounds. Oh, there we go. I left it beside my paper trimmer. So we have 3 backgrounds to work with. We also have this really interesting piece that I think fits. Oh, maybe it doesn't fit. No, that's too bad. It doesn't fit across the card front. I thought it was an interesting piece. What if we turn it sideways? No, it doesn't. Okay. So we have 3 backgrounds, and we have our gorgeous envelopes. And then we also have 2, oh, I've lost them again, 2 labels that we can work with. And I don't know why I keep putting them down. I'm losing them. There we go. All right, so because we did not make any mistakes stamping, we have 2 of these and 2 of these as extras. Okay, if you want to play around with the other pieces that are intended for your card sets as well, then you do have those extra pieces. I always kind of like to create my alternatives using parts that aren't part of the card. That way you could make all the cards and the alternatives. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put those to the side. I'm going to trim these down right now to create just a little bit of something different. This piece I'm actually going to trim right down the middle. I'm actually going to create it into 2 pieces that are 5.5 by 2 inches each. So what that's going to mean is I'm going to cut here at 2 inches, and then I'm going to trim that down so that the fold is gone, but I'm going to keep it full height. Okay. So let's see. Oh, I had already trimmed it. Darn it. I had already trimmed it to 5.25. That's okay. So it's 5.25. I'm going to trim it down to 4 and then 2. And we'll just make that work. All right. So I've got this gorgeous piece that has now become 2 pieces. I had, for some reason, already trimmed it down to 5.25 instead of leaving it the full 5.5. So we're just going to put it onto a piece of basic white, and then we're going to put this whole piece onto a piece of Misty Moonlight. So just like that. We're going to do that. So all of these layers are going to get glued together. And because we've got 2 of them, you can actually double down and make 2 of this card at the same time if you want. I'm just going to do 1 right now. So take this and glue that down. And then take this. So yeah, out of the back side of that 1 card, like with the 1 card base they gave us, we're actually going to be able to make 3 cards with it, which is really, really nice. All right, so we've got that all glued down like that. Now in our die set, the add-on kit, we have this gorgeous label. And so this label we're actually going to use to stamp our sentiment on here. And for this one, I'm actually going to make it a happy birthday. So you just want to have some kind of piece of basic white. Oh, good, it does fit. Now, because this is going to be such a tight fit for die cutting, I'm actually going to die cut first and then stamp on it. I often prefer to do it the other way around, but I don't want to risk not getting it lined up. So let's grab my plates, because I'm just using scraps off my desk. Like, these are just extra cuttings. So we'll just run that through. There we go. And, oh, that was a very tight fit. All right. So that is our die cut for that. And now using our Misty Moonlight ink, I'm going to grab that happy birthday. You could use any of the sentiments. So I think most of them fit on this label. And let's just clean this one up so I can use this block. So if you only have your 1 paper pumpkin block, it's just going to mean a lot of cleaning your stamp. So I do recommend getting a chamois. Cleaning your stamp and then putting a new image onto your block and going about it that way. If you have blocks, then you can put all of your pieces onto blocks, and then you don't have to do all that work as you're creating. All right, so there's our happy birthday. So pretty. And this is going to go on just like that. So now I am trying to create kind of a more masculine card. So I don't want to go crazy with ribbons and all sorts of other embellishments. So I'm just going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And then we're going to add some gems onto this just for some subtle. Actually, you know what? Maybe we won't. We have that bird stamp set. Oh, maybe we're going to do that. I forgot about our bird stamp set. All right, so I'm going to attach that like that. Except it's silly to put birds below. We're going to put birds above. And I'm going to have the birds kind of traversing across the 2 layers. Now, if I was smart, I would have stamped that before I put my sentiment down, but that's okay. And there we go. So that's kind of tying the panels together, having those birds go across. And then I'm going to grab my little birds and pop some in down there. And now I am still going to grab some gems though for this card, and just put a few little gems kind of pulling it all together. So I think for this one, we want to keep it kind of neutral. I'm thinking the neutral matte dots are going to be perfect for this. And there they are. And so I'm going to actually use the black ones on this because it just is like a real nice tie-in for everything. So I'm going to do a large and a small and another large up here and just kind of pull it all together with those dots. So there you have it, our first card, our first alternative card created. So very, very simple and masculine still, which is something that I find I always need, is more masculine cards. And then to finish this one off, you could again put a panel in there and stamp some birds on the inside to tie the front and the inside together. So that's alternative number 1. Now, alternative number, and then of course you can create a second card with exactly the same thing going on. All right, my next alternative, I've got these 2 gorgeous card bases. I'm going to trim both of these down to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to actually do that at the same time. So 4 by 5 1/4. There we go. And now with those trimmed down, I have got my card bases here. And so I can pop that one onto the other half of my crumb cake and this one onto the other half of my Lost Lagoon. So there we go. So we've got 2 card bases created, and I'm actually going to glue these down. I'm a little brave that way. I'm going to stamp right onto my already glued down stuff. That's okay. Here we go. So I'm going to glue that down. And glue this one down. All right. And then for these 2, I'm not going to deviate too much from the original card. I think the only difference is that I might add in some labels so that there is something with dimension on the card, but we're going to keep it pretty simple. So both of these cards didn't need a ton of extra stuff. They had the extra layers for their mountains, but even that, I don't think they really needed that. So what we're going to do for this one, the original had like a little bit of a sun in there, like where it didn't have any color. We don't have that piece going on for this card. So I think having that label is going to be really, really nice. And we can keep it super duper simple and just do To a Wonderful Man. And you can use the label that comes in this kit, and we can stamp that on there and attach that. Or if you wanted to keep it even more simple and more kind of in line with the original card, using the 3rd largest circle from the Stylish Shapes dies, we can go ahead and put in kind of that nice sunshiny shape. And so that's where I'm actually going to go with this, is I'm going to use a 3rd largest Stylish Shapes circle and stamp that, and we'll die cut it first and then stamp it so that I kind of get that look of the sun again. So I'm going to die cut this first. Actually, this one's large enough. You know what? I'm going to stamp it first so that I can line up my die around my image. So let's move our happy birthday over there. To a Wonderful Man. And this one's nice because it says To a Wonderful Man, so it could be a birthday card, it could be a thank you card, it could be a Father's Day card. Like so many options because we're not specifying a holiday on there. All right, now that that's stamped, we'll do our die cutting. So I like that, so then I can go ahead and line up my circle exactly how I want it around there. There we go. And we've got that. And I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals, and then we're going to actually put some neutral matte dots around this one as well. So the original card just had the layers of the mountain and everything popped up. This one we're going to pop up our sentiment and then add some dots around here. So for this one, I'm going to go with the pecan pie dots. And I think we're just going to go large, small, and large, and just pull it together like that. So very, very simple, but I think that's good for masculine cards. I don't think we need to get all crazy and do too much fancy stuff. All right. And now our final card. This one, was also really simple and just had those layers, but we did have some birds in there. And this one to me also feels just slightly more like it could be a man's card or a woman's card. So this one I'm going to do the happy birthday. I think we're going to do it again. Oh, actually, I forgot that we had these. That seems just a little plain though. So I wonder, it's a little too wide for that. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to do happy birthday on our fancy label that we've got here. Put some birds in the sky and call this one done. So I'm going to do the birds in the sky first. So I've got them here on my block. So I'm going to do the birds there and a few more down here. And actually looking at this, I'm not even sure I want to use a label and have it all popped up like that. I might actually just stamp the sentiment straight on here and add some embellishments and be done. I just don't want to overcomplicate it, and this one's so pretty. So let's just see. If we don't like what it looks like, we can always add a label over top of it. But I actually really like that. And then instead of going with some stark white, we're going to use kind of the vanilla in here and just keep it really, really simple. A large, a small, and whoops, run away, and another little one over there. And we're going to call this done. So you can see how these really, like, the backgrounds do the work for you. They're so pretty. So these are fairly simple alternative cards for me, but this stamp set and the pieces are fairly simple. And I think that's kind of nice every once in a while. So there we go. That is my set of 3 alternatives. So the 3 card bases that I used on the originals, we've gone ahead and used the other half of those sheets to create our 3 alternative cards. Yeah, they are simple, but they're really actually quite beautiful, and I just don't want to take away from the beauty of this paper. So as I play more with this, I will share other alternatives with you. If I create more alternatives, chances are I will probably just recreate these and the cards from our kit. It's a busy time of year for me with report cards coming up, so not a lot of time for creativity. But I hope you enjoyed these. And if you haven't registered yet for the June Paper Pumpkin Kit, it is a florals kit. Again, going to be 9 cards, I believe, and it coordinates with the leaf and flower die that are in the add-on die set. So you'll definitely want to check that out. And for any of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, you do get the additional Paper Pumpkin stamp set PDF from me as a thank you. So just another little perk to grabbing that Paper Pumpkin and getting lots and lots of creative ideas. So have a wonderful day, everyone, and I will see you all next Wednesday. Bye.